Alright, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth. It's September 5th, 2015, and today we have the pleasure of having with us former WBO World Middleweight Champion, Peter Kid Chocolate Quillin. How you doing today, Peter?
I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking time. I know you're really busy training. You got a fight coming up. We're going to talk about that soon. But I just want to kind of bring the fans up to date a little bit that aren't really familiar with you, who you are, where you're going, and what you're about to do.
Well, I'm 31 with one draw, 22 knockouts. I'm the former WBO middleweight champion of the world. I got a fight coming up September 12th on NBC. I'm fighting underneath the banner of PBC, where it's Premier Boxing Champions, where we brought back boxing to free, primetime TV, NBC, CBS, Spike TV, and ESPN. We got a few other networks out there. Spike TV, we got a lot of networks, and I'm showcasing my talent. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Made my name, my whole career, my whole name in New York City. I'm now residing in Brooklyn. And, I'm reaching for the stars right now at this time of my career. I'm a father, a husband, and a man of God.
Okay. And like you just brought up, you were raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You were actually born in Chicago, raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and now you fight out of Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
That's...
And my dad is born and raised in Cuba.
So that's 3 different fight cities now you've lived in that are pretty big and that have, got some big fighters coming out of those cities. So.
Yeah, man, I'm very blessed to be able to call all of those my home and part of my journey and my tremendous story, making that part of my name.
Okay, so now take me back to how you got involved in boxing to begin with.
I was in the streets of Grand Rapids, Michigan. A friend of mine that was a boxer, Golden Glove fighter, and I had a pair of boxing gloves. He was kind of like rapish teenagers running through the neighborhood, and he's like, "Man, y'all stay out of trouble. I want y'all, if y'all ever got problems with other guys, y'all can take it out in the glove." Introduced us to these boxing gloves he gave to us, and I kind of fell in love with those gloves to the point where I felt like I wanted to be a boxer. So what I did was walk into a boxing gym. My mom was going to buy me a pair of gloves out of this boxing equipment book, and she said, "Pick out you some equipment." And I looked into the magazine, scene. There was some local gyms in my city of Grand Rapids, and went to MGGA, Michigan Glove Association. Started boxing in April. Missed the Golden Gloves, because they were Golden Gloves like in April. Fought my first amateur fight that June in that same year, and won my first fight in Canada, where it was Michigan versus Canada. And I fought a guy against a guy named Peter, the same name as mine, and I fell in love with it ever since. And my journey in boxing has been, been very hard, because I moved to New York, and it's a big, deep journey, man.
Now you only actually had 15 amateur fights, right?
Only 15, yes. Came close to a couple Golden Gloves in Michigan. I always made it to like quarterfinals. I won a ringside national tournament in the same year that I lost the Golden Gloves. My first national tournament that I fought as a novice, I won it, and went up to movie New York. Fought like Joe Green in the Golden Gloves, lost it to him in the semi-quarterfinals. This show always has some, like I said, tremendous ups and downs in boxing, but had a lot of ups that changed me for the better.
But I mean, that just shows the young guys that it's not all about how many amateur fights you put in. It's about the work you put in. I mean, 15 amateur fights, and you've been a world title holder already.
Yeah, the only thing about that is, like, I still didn't have kids, and I wasn't choosing to be a boxer because of reasons like I see a lot of guys coming in the game wanting to be, they want to be rich and stuff, and I just wanted to be a champion. So I was focused on me becoming a champion before I was worried about, how much money I can make. And I see a lot of guys make that mistake, thinking that it's all about the money, but it's really not. It's really about your ability and knowing how far you want to go by working hard. You working in the hours in the gym, you're entitled to make, the best decisions that you can make for yourself.
But now you've stated that basically you've came out of the hood. And a lot of guys that come out of the hood and become boxers, sometimes they have chips on their shoulder. You know, they're angry. They're not really fan friendly all the time. And for the guy that's came where you came from, I mean, you're pretty fan friendly. I mean, you go on Facebook and do the Facebook Live. You want your fans to ask you questions. You're always open up to fans coming up to you and talking to you. How do you always just maintain a humble attitude and a positive attitude?
I think majority because of my religion, my spirituality, being a Christian. You know, that's always what God wants for each and every one of us to find to be a humble person, like Jesus walked the earth as a humble man. So, I try to use that as an example for myself, and also never to live what they want you to, what they fit with. I find out being from where I'm from in the hood, they want you to think you're a product of your environment, and I think that's a lie. So I choose not to listen to that part and always prove not them wrong, but myself wrong, and always be who I stay true and staying true to myself. I can't blame nobody for being in such a positive mind frame and being in such a positive place in my life where I'm able to be humble and be thankful for all the blessings that God is able to let me receive.
And I mean, I just recently heard that you just bought your mother a house last week. Is that true?
Yes, I bought my mom a house. I own so far, but by the end of this month, I'm gonna own 6 houses, including the house that my mom will be living in, a house that my uncle used to own that he passed away, and my cousin almost lost the house, and I picked up and did a short sale and bought the house, and 3 other rental properties that I have. One is 3 will be a rental property, and 1 will be for sale.
And the other thing is that I love about you is you throw candy to the crowd when you fight, correct? You throw Hershey Kisses?
Yeah, I throw any kind of chocolate. I don't get paid to throw chocolate. I just do it because I want it to be remembered as the guy that threw the chocolate out to the people when they came. I give them something extra besides a knockout they can get for coming to see my fight. They can get some chocolate and hang on to the memory of being part of a great fight that I usually would like to put on.
You're almost too nice to be a fighter, Peter.
Yeah, man. Maybe I could be an actor one day. Who knows? I had a movie coming out called Bleed for This. It's a story about Vinny Paz. I play Roger Mayweather in the movie. Y'all need to stay tuned and wait for that to be released. And when that to come out, and I could just see how well I did in that, and maybe I got a career after boxing. And repeat that. What's the name of the movie? The movie is called Bleed for This. The lead actor in the movie is Miles Teller. It's a story about Vinny Paz from Rhode Island.
And now, don't you also have a documentary of your life coming out on Netflix?
Yeah, well, that's what we're working on right now. We're just trying to make sure that everything is going to be in the best interest of me being able to showcase my story, my whole story. So, yeah, that's something that we're working on right now.
Okay. Now, I want to promote your fight real quick. Like you already brought it up, in case anybody missed it in the beginning. It's Premier Boxing Champions, Saturday, September 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on NBC. It's Peter Quillin, 31-1 draw, versus Micheal Zerafa, 17-1. He's out of Australia. He doesn't seem to have a lot of power, but the guy seems like he can box, and he's supposedly fought the best in Australia, but this isn't Australia, this is the U.S. So we're going to see what happens in that fight. Now, honestly, I mean, this is a tune-up fight, because nobody's really, and nothing against Micheal Zerafa, I'm sure he's a great fighter, but everybody's looking ahead to possibly December 5th, you against your friend Daniel Jacobs, right?
Yes. Everybody looking forward for that fight, including me. I'm just trying to stay patient because it's only one fight at a time.
And also on your fight that I didn't mention, the co-main event is actually Cornelius Bundreds versus Jermall Charlo for the IBF Super Welterweight title, which is going to be a good fight as well. So everybody should definitely tune into this.
To that fight.
But all right, now I want to talk about Daniel Jacobs real quick. You guys are friends. Nobody ever likes fighting friends. Everybody saw what just happened in the Sergio Mora fight, and I just recently did an interview with Sergio Mora, and I want to know what you have to say to what he had to say. He understands the business. He said he definitely thinks that you and Jacobs should fight because of what happened, but he would like a shot possibly out of the winner of your fight and Jacob's fight.
I think anything is possible in the strength of boxing, and I don't knock anything. You know what I'm saying? Now, one fight at a time. Right now, I'm focused on the fight that's ahead of me right now, and that's with Zerafa. We get through that and look good. We fight with Danny Jacobs, and then anybody else after that could be a possibility.
I mean, the opportunities in your division right now are endless for you. I mean, you got guys that are coming up that you could fight. You got guys that are above you can fight. I mean, you're in a perfect position right now in your division. And I know a lot of people have brought it up to you, and I'm going to bring it up to. Do you think we're ever going to see a fight between you and Triple G?
I think it's a possibility, but, like I said, we're working with two different people in the strength of boxing. Meaning, like, he's fighting on HBO, and it's a lot of things that stop the fight from happening. I think majority of it be like the money ain't big enough for the fight happening too. Mayweather and Pacquiao to get the pot to be what it was, which was close to $1 billion. You know what I mean? For two networks to come together and make a fight happen like the way they did. They only come with the fight being worth a lot of money. That fight being worth a lot of money is definitely a good benefit for my kid and for me, and a good strength for my legacy. But before I can get lost into that, I just worry about one fight at a time. Worry about when the fight is happening, and for me to be ready.
So, in the position you're in the division, do you consider yourself like a student of the game? Do you study your division? Do you watch guys below you and guys above you?
No, I don't. I just study guys when I get in the ring with them, because you can study a guy a whole career and get in there and you fight totally different. So I kind of just pay attention when it's time to get paid for it, I guess.
Okay. So, now I know you worked with Freddie Roach for a little while, right?
Yes, I definitely did.
So tell me something, because everybody knows that Freddie Roach is probably one of the best trainers in boxing. Tell me something you took away from Freddie Roach.
He had a whole system about hard work and everything, and, I learned a lot from being his part of his system, and, I stayed focused on that, and got me to where I'm at right now.
Okay, I want your opinion on some of these other fighters that are coming up behind you. They're a little lower. They're not probably ready to fight you right now, but I think maybe in a couple years or so we might see them in the ring with you. Tony Harrison and Willie Monroe Jr.
Tony Harrison and Willie Monroe Jr.?
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar with Tony Harrison.
Well,
I'm familiar with Willie Monroe, who seemed like a pretty good boxer.
Well, hopefully we'll see you in the ring with him eventually.
I'm always open for anybody.
Okay, now, like we just brought up the fact that you're always positive and humble. Now, I know you have a tattoo on your shoulder of a smiley face. How did that all come about?
Being happy with what you got. A lot of people forget to be happy with the free things of life, like a smile, free breath, water, family, and the love that's surrounded by you. So I guess, that's just representing what I know is true to being to me, being happy with myself. So I try to teach people and kids that they need to be happy with their situation and not be angry at anybody.
Okay, now do you have any superstitions or habits that you do before a fight?
That this world will fall into sin, so I don't try to stay being a worldly person. I'm trying not to be with the world and do what the world do. Try to focus on me being a humble spirit and the man of God.
Okay, and what does being a pro boxer mean to you, Peter?
I mean, a pro prize fighter means I have to fight for a prize and make a living for something that I love to do, and for professional, just being showing that I can be a mean killer in the ring, but also I can be a gentleman outside of the ring, being a professional. So that's what it means to me.
Okay. Now I know when I was doing research, like I said, you are very fan friendly. You never leave anybody out. I mean, you got Team Kid Chocolate. You make sure that everybody knows who everybody is in your team, and you don't just like go out there and claim that you do this by yourself. Even though you are in the ring by yourself, when the bell rings, you always make sure that everybody knows who your team is, and I think that's a huge thing in boxing, because a lot of people forget who the people are that help them get in that ring, And I just want to throw that out there, you know, if you want to give a shout out for Team Kid Chocolate, because you're always...
Kid Chocolate, yeah, I got my main trainer, Eric Brown. I got my assistant trainer, Rafael Ramos. Got his son who assists him as far as when I'm in New York. Got somebody that can always brush me up. I got my best friend, who's my camp assistant, and my business partner, Johnny Perez, and then also my camp manager who manages everything about me, my money, everything, Antoine Gooch. You know, I got a big team, got a lawyer, I got a lot of... My wife is one of my business partner right underneath me. You know, I'm just financial advisor. You know what I mean? I got a big team of people that should keep me level-headed.
So, also, I want to bring up, how's the relationship with Al Heyman going?
Al Heyman is excellent. You ride the sport of boxing and made it available for fans to be able to see boxing on free TV. And they get to see good fights on free TV. And I have a pretty good relationship with him as far as the best advice I'm going to be able to get.
Okay, now give me somebody that inspires you inside and outside the ring in your life.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, that's an honest answer.
Yeah, that's actually my biggest inspiration.
Okay, and for the fans that might not be familiar with you or have never seen you actually fight, why should they come out and either show up at this fight or tune in to watch this main event?
Because you see a fighter fight for a lot of great reasons. The reason why I want to be in that ring and the reason why my fights are exciting is because when you fight from a level of reasoning and you know you're meant to be in a certain place, you're going to fight your hardest. And when fans get to see a fighter fight like that, they always going to get excited fight.
And also, I've noticed that you do a lot of stuff as far as like giveaways and stuff, and as long as people donate to certain charities that you're sponsoring that week. How did you get involved in all of that?
Just got a great team with surrounded by me, just giving me the best advice as far as what's going to be good and all that. And I'm just thankful to have them. And, you know, I'm going to always continue giving. Try to make as much money as I can and give as much money as I can away.
Well, I just want you to know personally, for me, Boxing with the Truth, I think you're a huge role model right now in this sport of boxing, and I think we need more boxers like you that are fan-friendly, that are willing to do things for more promotions and for more organizations like this. And I just think that a lot of young boxers should be looking out at you and how to carry themselves and how to go through this business.
Yes, just make sure y'all follow me at Kid Chocolate on Instagram, Kid Chocolate on Twitter. Hit my website at www.kidchocolate.com. You know, I can tell people to keep God first, but, you know, you got to use the word for you. I'm always going to continue to keep God first and following the model to be the best fighter I can be in and out the ring. But also try to inspire kids that's from where I'm from, that they can make it too, as long as they believe in their dreams and work and is willing to work hard behind them.
Okay, now I got to bring this up. I don't know if you're ever going to fight this guy or not, but I hope so, just because he's a hometown Minnesota guy, and he's probably one of our best fighters out here. I hope that someday Caleb Truax gets a chance to fight you.
Well, Caleb Truax is one of my sparring partners once before, so he had some great sparring sessions with us. I don't know. I think he's you know, I'm one of the best in the world. Let's say that.
Well, I was hoping that he was going to beat your friend Daniel Jacobs so he would get a shot, but that didn't work out the way it was supposed to.
It's cool. We got many more times coming up. You know, so we got to stay blessings and just be thankful for what we do get to have and just keep one day at a time.
So, I want you to tell me, if a kid came into the gym and he wanted to become a boxer, what type of advice would you give him?
I would give him advice is to work hard, train hard, and don't never let nobody tell him that he should give up.
Okay, well listen, I want to promote your fight one more time before we end the interview. Premier Boxing Champions, Saturday, September 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern, NBC. Peter Quillin, 31-1. Excuse me, 31 wins, no losses, 1 draw. Make sure I get that correct. Versus Micheal Zerafa, 17-1 out of Australia. Co-main event is Cornelius K9 Bundards. Everybody's aware of who he is. Everybody's aware of who Jamal Charlo is. This is going to be for the IBF Super Welterweight title. It's going to be a huge fight. Everybody definitely turn in. Premier Boxing Champions is definitely putting on some great matches. You guys do not want to miss these matches. Peter, anything you want to say to your fans or your supporters?
Yeah, hit up www.kidtropic.com and also follow me on Instagram at KidTropic as well as on Twitter. Like I said, keep working hard. Keep your eye on me because I'm going to be in your face all the time and I'm trying to spread a good story and the good news.
All right, and with that, the truth has spoken.